Hi, welcome. Today I want to invite you to my very last Halloween video. You guys, Halloween is just a day or two away, and I'm so excited for it. But I'm also a little sad because I just think, oh, it's almost over. But if you've missed any of my Halloween videos, if nothing else, they should entertain you. But I have to tell you, stay tuned on November 1st because we're going to do Christmas countdown. It is going to be great for November, so make sure to watch that. Hi, I'm Bonnie Overman. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope my channel will inspire you to lead a more productive, creative, and stylish life at any age, always on a budget. And in case you're wondering, I'll be 70 years old next year. If you like these kind of videos, I try to put my heart and soul into everyone. Please subscribe, like, and comment below. I'd like to know what you're doing for Halloween. So today is part 2. If you've missed part 1 about why I created Helsa and her brother Henry, well, you should watch that video because I'll tell you how I made her and why I made her. But today we're going to be telling you their story. So I got to tell you, so when I turned 60, my daughter-in-law's parents offered to throw me a party in their house. I decorated it for Halloween, the party. My birthday's in October. And I came up with this story about a young girl that lived during the Civil War times. But this video is all about the story and the mystery behind Helsa and her family. This is her name, Helsa. This is Henry, her brother. So I remember that night I had a witch's costume on and I was finishing the last minute of setting everything up. As the guests came to the party, I was going to take them in groups of 5 and take them into the graveyard and tell them the story of Helsa. Used to live on this very property over 100 years ago. And so I take them in, I open the wrought iron gates, and there I have set up the graveyard. So I start to tell everybody the story. I'll say, we have some visitors tonight. There's 2 people that are visiting. They lived over 150 years ago. They're inside on the stair landing. I want to tell you their story before we go in. So this story starts back in kind of the mid 1800s. And there was a family that ended up looking very strange to most people. They moved from town to town. They were very old. They looked like they were almost 70 years old, yet they had Helsa as a daughter, a 15-year-old daughter, and they had Henry. Who knew how old he was? Because the parents made him wear a cape and this mask all the time. And Henry would try to run away and they would catch him and bring him back and lock him in his room. It was really horrible. Helsa was kind of afraid to confront her parents about this. And she would try to unlock the room and there was but to no avail. Now the other problem was that you can imagine with this strange family, these old parents, these young kids, one never went to school. In fact, they didn't know if he was like 3 years old, 4 years old, or 6 years old. They couldn't really tell. And he didn't go to school. So neighbors started getting suspicious. So this family had to move almost every couple months into a new place. And so it was very disruptive. The final place they moved, when Helsa was about 14, 15 years old, was Louisiana, New Orleans. And they got a little cottage and settled in. Well, Helsa had to start a new school, but she really liked the school, and especially one of the young boys named Charles. You see, Helsa just fell head over heels in love with Charles, who was a very nice young boy and a couple years older than her. They wanted to get married. She wanted to get out of the house and get away from her parents and all the craziness that was going on. And they said no, they were not going to let her get married. She had to wait. Well, this was right around 1865. When you know what happened then, the Civil War broke out. And she begged Charles not to go. She begged him, please don't go. But he did go. And here's his picture in his uniform. Well, Helsa wrote him every single day. And soon the letters start getting returned to her. And then she got the letter she did not want to get, that Charles, her beloved, had perished in the Civil War. Helsa took to her bed, was literally dying of a broken heart. And the parents decided they wanted to move out to California. So they decided to take their family out, and it's this very property that the shack was on and that this family moved into. She was so mourning the loss of her beloved sweetheart, Charles. Her health got so bad that she developed tuberculosis. And the parents at this time got them two together and said, we're done. We're leaving. We're going to start a new life somewhere. You guys take care of yourself. And they got in a wagon and they took off and left poor sick Helsa and her little brother there. Well, there must have been some karma going on, because those evil, awful parents, they're in their wagon and the wagon wheel fell off and just tipped them over the cliff down into the Pacific Ocean, and they died. So now we have poor Helsa, who's on the verge of dying, with her younger brother. He pulls off his mask and Helsa shrieks, "Henry, you're an old man." I was born a little person, and my parents were so ashamed of me. They dressed me up in this cape and mask so nobody would ever know that they had a small person. Oh, Helsa just cried and cried. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because I didn't want to burden you. I didn't want you to know, because if you confronted them, they might harm you in some way." But he says, "I want to tell you the story about our parents. They had me and was so ashamed of me, they kept me in this costume." "But Helsa, they weren't your parents." He said, "No." He said, "I remember when I was a young boy," he said, "that you came to visit with a niece. I think it was a niece. It was a young girl. And she disappeared. And you stayed at the house. And my parents just said that she gave you to them. And a couple weeks later, I found out from papers I found later that she was found murdered." You see what happened? They were so ashamed of me. They wanted a normal child. And they actually killed someone to get you as a child and raise you. He said, "Helsa, I kept thinking you were going to get over Charles. You were going to become happy again. And I didn't want to burden you with all these dark family secrets." Well, Helsa didn't make it. She was too far gone with the tuberculosis. But her brother Henry stood by her bed and took care of her, as a good brother would. But you can see now, this isn't even her brother. It's actually a cousin of hers. When Helsa passed, he laid her to rest. And he went on with his life and ended up living a fairly happy life. So I told everybody this story. And I said, we're about to go in and see all of Helsa's things and Helsa, and we'll tell you the happy ending for Helsa. And I go, we're going to walk in the door now. They'll be on the stair landing. Do not touch them or talk to them. They just want to be here for you. And so I open the door, and there's, creepy cloth everywhere, dim lights, candles, and there's all of Helsa's things, her suitcases, her camera, her little dolls, her purses. And we turned to the right, and we saw. So what's the end of the story? She went to find her Charles, and they got married, and they lived happily ever after in the afterlife. So that's my spooky story for today. And I want to wish you guys a very happy Halloween from Helsa, Henry, and me. Have a safe time, a spooky time, and a fun time. And don't forget to tune in on November 1st, because we're going to kick off for Christmas. Until next Halloween, this witch is signing off. But I'll see you next year.